Well, good morning, everybody. Let's get some lights on. There I am. There we are. Hey guys, how you doing? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Matt Runs. You may be able to tell from the small screen that it's not that I started without you, it's that I think I recognize in my heart of hearts that the important part of this stream is not Immersius. I was ready a little bit early today, a bit out of character, but I was ready early and I was sitting here and I was getting my characters out to the entrance and then I was like, you know what? You know what would make me really ready is if I just started and then was like ready to go when the clock ticked over. So I'm seated. I'm fully dressed. Like I'm always fully dressed, but I'm wearing more not even outside clothes, just clothes that I wouldn't voluntarily go to bed in for the day. I got my hair brushed, clothes on, tea ready, and chat up. Lights on, we're here. And let me see if I can try to not mess up protectors. How you guys doing? Parker P. Dog, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Fedori, likewise, thank you very much for your sub. Welcome. And Becca Yochi with the, again, brand new sub. Thanks, guys. Welcome, all of you, to the Squirrel Squad. And just, out of curiosity, on a scale from like 1 to nah, be honest, do you guys think that name's dumb? Do you guys think that Squirrel Squad's like a little dumb? Because on one hand, I can't like I enjoy the alliteration of it, and I can't really is it alliteration if you're only repeating the consonant twice? Maybe you need 3 times. Anyways, I enjoy the matching squish sounds, and I recognize that most like fandom names are pretty goofy. So it's cute, but I don't know. I feel like once you say it out loud and, in person, all of a sudden I have a moment where I'm like, did I really do that? Did I really figure that one out? Misaki99, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. How you guys doing, Dark Hazel? Hey guys, today's one of the days when I want to eat a bunch of bad for you food. Feel that. Woke up to having no power. I've heard that there's some spicy or frosty weather going on. What do you guys like to do when your power is out? Assuming that all of the necessities are taken care of, that you've either figured out or written off how to preserve the food in your fridge, and you've hopefully there's no like medical devices that need power. Like assuming that the essentials are taken care of. What do you then do? Like, what are your rituals? I used to lose power much more frequently when I lived up in Canada, especially at like higher elevations where it would get really windy. So we would have blackouts a few times a year. And down here, I think we've only had like 1 or 2 since I moved here. So a lot of my power outage rituals seem dated to me. Like they seem like they're specific to like 2004. Let's catch up a little bit here. You started without us. This better not be the second run. No. Although I was considering, like, if I get characters all the way to Garrosh but do not kill it, and then zone out because I'm, like, leaving it for later, do I then have to run all the way through the instance if I zone back in? Because even so, that still might be faster if I had the time to prepare ahead and get a few characters ready to go for the mount run. That still might be faster, but it would be a little bit of a downer to have to run through the whole empty place like all over again. Chris Alcott, thank you very much for the sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Aratoko with the 5 months, appreciate it. And Leroy, presumably Jenkins, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate it, guys. Got my flu jab today. I am proud. Congratulations. You can feel immunized. Binging your videos with my husband, it's so helpful since we're coming back to WoW after a really long absence. A 1 or 2 because it's silly, but it fits us. It fits because we're all a bit nutty. This is true. Sometimes folks will meet me and then they've never said this because everybody's very nice, but I always imagine somebody being like, oh, it's nutty for a reason. It's not just like a cute food pun. Although, I don't check Instagram much because it doesn't really click with me, and I'm not eager to try to make it click with me because I recognize that can be addictive, and I don't need that in my life. So I have an Instagram, but I don't visit much, and I certainly don't scroll much. So I popped in, and I saw that I was, like, tagged or mentioned or something. Again, not super clear with how it works. But the thing that I was tagged in, I think it was a story, and I'm pretty sure that it was not targeted at me because it tagged my handle directly, Hazelnutty Life, but it was literally about Nutella, and all of the other tags were like hazelnut food related things, and I'm not sure that they intended that they knew that I was a person. I thought maybe they were just hashtagging and they accidentally put an @ symbol in it, but I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty funny. For somebody with hazelnutty themed branding, I do not really consume any Nutella. I think I was very put off by it when I found out that it was, in fact, after all, not a health food. That was just a big letdown. Seeing as how Dark Void Hazel often makes an appearance, are you thinking of calling us Voidsters? Voidsters. Dark ones. Probably not. That sounds like something I should just read once and then leave alone. I read with my cat cuddled up to me. That sounds super cute. We would light candles, and then I would play my Game Boy by candlelight because this was pre-backlit handheld consoles. So I needed, like, I had various accessories for my Game Boy that would shine a light on the screen to allow me to play in the dark. I'm not sure how my parents really let me do that because the whole point of playing in the dark under the covers was because I wasn't allowed to. There was like a lights out time and you were supposed to stop reading and put down the Pokemon and go to bed. And I was always trying to find ways to secretly circumvent that and like stay up late in secret playing Pokemon. So I had these various light accessories that would plug into it. And they were also handy in the event of a power outage. But, you know, if the power went out today, I suppose I could do something similar with like the Switch, but I want to say that the Switch's battery life is not as good as the old Game Boy Color used to be. Crochet, a low or no power hobby. Solitaire. Board games, hang out with friends somewhere there is power. I like being in the Squirrel Squad. Sleep, best activity for no power. There you go. There you go. That's the strategy. It zones you in at the Paragon room. Oh, that's good to know. That's not too bad. I might do that. If I can find a way to just run a few characters through off stream, but not kill the last boss. I don't know when, but if I can find a way to convince myself that's just a nice relaxing thing to do by myself in the evenings, then I could start a Mount Run stream and have a few more attempts ready to go because I don't know if I can really stomach doing nothing but siege clears all stream, every stream for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think that's what it will actually take in order to get this mount to drop for me so that we can all move on with our lives. So maybe doing the prep work off stream might be the way to go for me. I need my flu jab, but never leave my house. People leave the house? Apparently, like I've heard, I'm skeptical though. I haven't really seen anything to prove this theory that there is in fact like stuff going on out there. Whenever I go on out there, it just seems like people are in their vehicles or just like in another building. I don't know if people actually like go outside. Good call on the flu jab. Heard way too many people coughing, snotting and everything when I was out shopping this weekend. It's not even that it's going to necessarily make you immune, but it just makes your odds so much better. And by having enough people all reduce their odds, it just makes, reduces the odds for everybody. I had the flu last year around Christmas time, and I would not wish that on anybody ever. So, poor Nutella, not chocolate, not healthy. At least it's not carob carbs. Nutella's just frosting. I was heartbroken when I found out because you guys remember when it came out and everybody was all excited. They were like, "It's peanut butter, except that with hazelnuts, and it's amazing and tastes like chocolate." And then we found out about peanut butter. I mean, not that we found out about peanut butter. Peanut butter's still fine, but it's also not exactly like a low calorie food. But yeah, like a memo went around somehow. Somebody figured out, like somebody looked at the nutrition facts label and was like, "Wow, that's a lot of sugar in this Nutella." And then everybody's like, "Oh, there goes that." Because I feel like while it's delicious, a lot of people were only eating it because they thought it was healthier than like a dessert spread. Just ordered a G600 as my second Razer Naga let me down again. Arrives tomorrow. I hope you love it as much as I love mine. I hope that it does the job for you. Flu jab doesn't make you immune to the common cold. This is true. Imagine if we could, like... It's almost 2020. How come we have not made any progress on the common cold yet? Like, I will admit fully, and, obviously I know nothing about research medicine. There's a good reason, I'm sure, why we have nothing we can do aside from just suffer through it, but still waiting for that day. Uber Eats doesn't deliver to me? Oh, no. I picked up a fun Uber Eats tip. It's not really a fun tip. It's more of I made an Uber Eats mistake recently, and I'm gonna try and not do it a second time. I ordered some lunch on a weekend for my husband and I ordered from a restaurant that I knew had a location nearby, but I didn't check the address because I don't know streets. Like, I don't go outside. I don't know what street anything is on. So I just ordered from one and assumed especially because it had that little promotion that's like free delivery if you order within 3.5 minutes. Let's see. Poke Eats Mania 22. Thank you very much for the sub. Also, Alex Shadow for 450.55. Wow, numbers are ruining me today, but thank you guys very much for the brand new subs. Welcome to the Scroll Squad, guys. But yeah, I had no idea what street it was supposed to be on, so it said a street, and I'm like, that sounds right. And then I ordered because it had that free delivery promotion, and then my driver calls me and she's like, so did you mean to order from this one? We're like a 40-minute drive away, and I know there's a location much closer to you. And I'm like, well, oops, but you know what now? Do you already have the food? And she's like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you knew. And I'm like, well, I know. I couldn't tell if she wanted me to do something or cancel the order or something. I'd already paid for it. I was very confused about the whole thing. I just went and took a nap while waiting for this food to arrive that would have been, in fact, much quicker if we'd just gone and picked it up from the local place. So, hot tip, even if it's got a free delivery promotion, just check to see where it's coming from because there might be a closer place you can order from. And I didn't think it would do that. I figured it would just default to the closest location because it knows where I live. So, what's up with that? Have you thought about changing your profile picture's hair to green? I have. I'm hesitant to do it for Twitch and YouTube just because I want those to be very recognizable and I don't want to change them every time I change my hair color. I did switch it up on Discord and on Twitter because I figure those matter less. those I don't need to know I don't need anybody to recognize me or know who I am on Twitter or on Discord. And those are more social, I would say, so that's fine for me to just change it whenever. They get you with the delivery charges. Well, the delivery was free because I ordered fast enough, which is also very stressful to try to specify your order on a timer. The delivery was free. It was just I felt like I'd really let the environment down by accidentally having this delivery driver drive all this extra way. So I'm gonna double check in the future, or maybe just make food at home. It's just a sandwich. Let's make Hazel say numbers. Oh no. Life is short. You can always have a little bit of everything, even Nutella. This is true, although I would be careful with your definition of everything. But yeah. No, nothing wrong with Nutella. I've heard it's very good, crepes specifically. I haven't made crepes in a long time. I went through a big, breakfast for dinner phase in my late teens, early 20s. I guess just, reveling in the freedom of being able to meal plan for myself. I was all about the waffles and eggs and potatoes for dinner. And I don't know when I got over that. I think it was mostly just because if it's eggs and potatoes and cheese and whatever, that's fine because that's got some protein and that'll actually keep you full for a while. But I can no longer just have a sweet breakfast like waffles or crepes with just fruit and cream and stuff and then feel full after, which is tragic because, as a young child, as a person that was not full grown yet, going out to breakfast was always exciting. And at a breakfast menu as a kid, you're like, well, I could get eggs. That's boring. I can do that at home. Or I could get waffles and they have apples and they have cream and that's way more exciting. So I would always do that. And then I reached a point in my life, I don't know what happened. I just got hungry. But I think I realized that while those sweet breakfasts were delicious, they didn't fill me at all. And I needed food again very shortly after, which just felt like a waste of time. So I learned to love the spinach, egg, potato thing. Director Tolsite or Tolsite, whichever it happens to be. Thank you very much for the sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Same thing happened to us in Ventura. Driver was mad. Yeah, and I felt bad, but I didn't know what else to do. Apparently, because she told me that they don't get to see where they're driving to until after they confirm their order, which seems dumb. I've had with just the rideshare version where you're having them drive you a place. I've had a situation before where I booked my ride and I got a driver for it, and then he called me and he's like, "Are you really going to this place? That's half an hour away." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not walking." and he's like, "Yeah, well, I gotta go see my dad, so sorry." And then he just canceled, and I'm like, "Well, that's okay." But it would make more sense if the system showed them what they were signing up for before they got it, and I figured that's how it worked, and maybe it is, and he was just very confused and wanted to see his father. I don't know. Also, I missed a cannon. I missed some bombs, which is why nothing's happening over here. I need to go back and find one more explosive. Ah, there it is. That's the stuff. One-click order for Uber Eats. It automatically orders from my favorite pizza place. That would be, I think, a little bit too easy for me. That would be a little too frictionless. I need the stress of having to figure out what I want and where I want it from, because half the time, if I open up the app and I'm like looking through the various options and the various pricing, I get so overwhelmed and frustrated with the whole thing that I'm like, whatever, I'll just cook. And that's like, it's almost helpful because, and this may be dangerous thinking, but, you know, looking through all of the different food options kind of reminds me of different types of food, which gives me ideas of what I could prepare for dinner, as opposed to just making me want to order something, because then I'm like, oh, this is like actually going to be like $12 plus $3 plus $2 plus $10 plus, never mind, I'll just cook, you know. What about an old child? That's what I am right now. I'm just a slightly overgrown child that is no longer aware of what I can and cannot pull off fashion-wise. I mostly do breakfast for dinner because I'm not really hungry in the morning. I need to relearn how to make breakfast potatoes and serve them for dinner. I feel like I'm really underusing potatoes in my life. Hang on, I need I mean, I can get the RP started, but I need game sound. I'm wearing headphones, and it's like just for fashion, and they're not that cute, you know. A little bit of this. My headphone's not on. Ah, there we go. That's the stuff. They were not on. That's the nice thing about wireless headphones, is sometimes you forget that they were not on. Oh, that's too much. That's far too much. Let's turn that like all the way down. Okay. That still might be too much, but maybe I'm just confused because I got used to the silence. French toast, great for filling up, always tasty. French toast doesn't really do it for me. You'd think it would. You'd think it should, because you've got some egg involved there. You have some bread, which is carby. I just don't know. Oh, my PC sounds too high. That's why. Ilmatari, thank you very much for the 3 months. Appreciate that. What is the proper amount of potato usage in one's life? An eternal question. I was considering potatoes last night because I don't get out much. And I was thinking about just when you are holding a raw potato and you are standing in a kitchen and you are blessed with an oven and a stove and pots and pans and a microwave, you are just at the crossroads of opportunity. You could take so many paths that all lie ahead of you and stretch out before you just by picking up that one potato. Will you peel it? Will you blanch it? Will you steam it? Will you boil it? Will you fry it? Will you make hash browns or tater tots? Will you shape it? Will you design with it? Will you just microwave it, and then are you going to add like butter or cheese or sour cream or spices or herbs or fruit? You know, like you can do whatever you want. I think the potato is really the purest example of overwhelming choice in one's life, in that I have so many options and none of them are exciting enough on their own without like true commitment for me to really want to do any of them. And it means that I never cook potatoes, despite the fact that there are so many different ways that you could do it. So, I used to have a dream, and now I don't, and I'm sad. This tea's delicious. I used to have a dream of being able to craft delightful hash browns. Small cubed potatoes, fried to perfection in a pan that were, you know, crisp on the outside. Also, sorry, food talk is starting early today. Crispy on the outside and soft on the inside, and just, you know, a little bit salty and warm and delightful with salt or vinegar or ketchup or whatever it is that you want to have on them. Cheese, go nuts. Herbs, get a little bit of fresh rosemary in there, fresh parsley in there, whatever it is that you want. Not big cubes, mind you. Littler ones. Like, we did McDonald's as a kid, and my favorite was the hash browns. And I think, like, while I don't want to actually get fast food, I just want to try to approximate it at home. So I've been trying to make hash browns in various forms for a long time, but I think I gave up because I wasn't really getting anywhere, and you can make a lot of really bad hash browns if you make some mistakes that feel unavoidable. Like, they get gummy, they get gluey, they get gray, they won't cook, they won't crisp, they burn, and there's all kinds of, it almost felt like people trying to give me advice on how to not cry with onions. There were so many different things. They're like, oh, just soak them in water. Soak them in water and then spin them around in a centrifugal fugue, you know. You can soak them in water, you can wrap them in a silk towel, and you can suspend them over the head of your firstborn child and whisper, you know, potato starch prayers over them, and then if you save some of the runoffs, you can make, like, glue, and then have a craft project, and it's like, it's just too much. I gave up, and they were never good, and then I decided it wasn't worth it anyways, and I just ate other foods. But, you know, I'm not a quitter. I'm not here to give up. So maybe it's time that I gave hash browns another try. With that kind of potato stress, I just slice it and start eating it raw. That is one thing I've never made it very far of. I have tried biting into a raw potato slice before because I sample basically any ingredient that crosses my kitchen. I want to know what it tastes like before and after cooking just so I can try and figure out what I did wrong in the middle. Also, usually if I'm cooking, it's because I'm hungry. I don't think ahead or plan ahead enough to start cooking early. So I'm usually already hungry and therefore snacking on ingredients, which I maintain is my prime right as chef, is to eat any and all of the ingredients. Not all of them. I'm not a monster, but you know, if I'm putting cheese on something, I am absolutely snacking on some cheese. She might have run siege one too many times and gone into a potato spiral. I was just really worried about not having enough to say after having blanked a little bit at the end of yesterday's stream. So anytime I get like the slightest half thought in my brain, I'm running with it for as far as it will take me because we have 2 hours of air to fill and I'm not here to try and be boring. Fishflakes13, thank you very much for the 4 months. Appreciate that. I never thought of a potato this way before. I won't be able to look at them the same. Thanks, Hazel. They really exemplify a lot of the prime anxieties of my life in that I have almost too much freedom. I have too much choice and find myself unable to make any one for fear of having made the wrong choice or for fear of making a choice and having it not turn out as well as I wanted it to, and I ended up doing nothing. So it's really an allegory, and also it's a potato. Creamy potato soup. Time to nicely ask the husband to make this glorious soup. I also spent a while, and I'm not going to get too started on soups here, but trying to make the perfect potato soup because I figure, like, I got an immersion blender. We used to have these lovely sort of, like, blended squash and potato soups growing up, and they were always good and had different harvest vegetables and spices. And I keep doing it, and I have a hard time making them not bland. I find that if I'm doing, like, a creamy potato soup, I end up adding so much, like, cream or butter to it that it is no longer an entree. It has become some kind of a weird potato dessert. Like, I've made it not okay anymore. I've made it hazardous for your health. I turn on the stream and the first words I hear are hash browns, joy of choice. Hash browns are hard, gotta steam a bit, then crisp. There's lots of different, like, there's so many different blog posts that you can read online about people that swear they have found the way to make their perfect hash browns, and I bet that they have for them, and they all, like, I think my problem is that I am lacking in conviction. I am unwilling to properly work all the way through anybody's crazy plan on how to make it perfectly, because usually by the time people have written up a whole blog post or, like, Medium article about how to do this properly, they have so many different teeny tiny steps and assurances, and soak here, and then steam here, and then squeeze out with this kind of towel. And it's like you've reached the number of steps where I will no longer take all of them, and then as soon as I start cutting corners, I'm over because they were important, otherwise they wouldn't have written them down. We could all learn something from the humble potato. Potatoes apparently have enough nutrients in them you can survive solely on them. Is that what hash browns are supposed to be? If I ever met a hash brown like that, I might actually eat it. I think the term hash browns can mean a variety of different things. Like, they're all, in essence, hopefully, cooked potatoes. Often fried potatoes, but, like, in a restaurant, home-style hash browns will often be, like, big cubes that are not necessarily crispy on the outside. They're just kind of, like, soft, big cubes of potato. And that is my least favorite incarnation of potato, is when it is just cooked so it is just soft and it exists as potato, and there are large parts of it that have not been penetrated by butter nor seasoning. I'm not having fun anymore. You know, like, that's when I remember that it's a potato and I get instantly bored, and I'm not there for it. So I like them better in smaller. I need that contrast of texture between the lightly fried outside and the soft inside, and I need them to be small enough that the toppings and seasonings can penetrate that inner potato so that you don't have a mouthful of just, like, you know, you know. Great, I'm hungry now. Yeah, I did that to myself too. I had breakfast too. Like, I fried an egg. It actually turned out properly for once. I didn't pierce the yolk. I had like a nice piece of multigrain toast. It was fine. It was like an hour and a half ago. It was not that long ago. Logging in to throw down some missions real quick. I have 1 resource. Next tune, I have 8 resources. Mating potato tikka curry later. A chef's hat has over 100 tiny holes that stand for the number of ways you can cook an egg. Is that true? That's wild. Tater tots, hash browns, or potatoes in their higher form, IMO. Cut them with a super sharp knife soaked in water works for me. Ah, yes, the root of my problem is my lack of a super sharp knife. I have 2 chef's knives, and one of them is cheap, and I sharpen it often, but I use like a really trash sharpener, which probably isn't helping things, but it's a cheap knife, so I don't mind ruining it, and it makes it sharp for like the one use that I'm using it for. And then I have another knife that is nicer, which means I'm afraid to sharpen it because I do not have a nice sharpener. And I imagine that if I ever acquire a quality knife sharpener, I'm then going to need to learn how to use it. And I'm just afraid of sharp things, you know? Like, I'm not terribly nimble. I'm not super dexterous. I have had knife accidents before, especially regarding like my fingers and my fingertips. I had a tragic incident involving a carrot and a fingertip before. I just taped it back on. It was mostly fine. The whole thing makes me nervous. The secret to get potatoes the way you want them is a lot of butter. Did you know that there are potatoes in pesto? I've made pesto before, and not once has a potato ever entered my pesto. When I do pesto, it's basically just like a buttload of basil, fresh basil, and then olive oil, salt, pepper, Parmesan cheese, pine nuts if I'm feeling fancy, and then maybe some other herbs. But the important thing is just like so much fresh basil that you're just trying to like reduce the size of the plant in your balcony so that it does not overgrow your neighbors and trap them inside of their home. Stream sponsored by Big Potato. You went live, almost missed it. Hi, it's up, Tailed Foxy. How you doing? Oh yeah, garlic. That's right. Also, garlic, the answer to non-boring potatoes. This is true. I end up having to go really hard on the garlic, though. Sometimes I worry that I have reduced my... I have blunted my garlic tolerance. That I have numbed myself to the magic of garlic because I use it a lot. I always use fresh garlic. And I make garlic bread. I will put garlic in any kind of a topping that I'm going to be melting. If I'm doing like tuna melts, or if I'm doing, if I'm stir frying anything, like garlic goes in almost everything. And sometimes when it's confronted with a bland food, such as a basic mac and cheese or a potato dish, I can't even tell anymore. I don't even see it. Tally ruined my pesto life by sharing that fact. I love a thick, hearty potato soup. I cannot even bring myself to mount running here, even though I want the scorpion mount so bad. Mount running Siege, the way I see it, is less about the goal, and it's more about the journey. And the journey will make you some gold. So, you know, if you want a fun way... Oh no, I forgot to vendor my stuff. If you want a fun way to see progress along the path before the eventual mount drop, you could keep track of how much gold you've gotten from vendoring everything. Like, check your gold before and after a run, mark down the difference after you've vendored everything, and then add that together week after week so that when the mount finally does drop, or you'll have a number of how much gold you made, and then up until that point, you can like sort of see your wealth rising so that you don't feel like you're completely wasting your time. That, to me, is the key to really enjoying mount runs, is to take the focus a little bit off of the mount dropping, and then find a way to feel like you accomplished what you came for just by completing the run, as opposed to seeing the mount drop. I don't want to finish a mount run and then feel like I wasted my time because it didn't drop, so I'm looking for any other... Getting out of breath here. I am looking for any other benefit, anything else that I can point to as a reward for my time invested that is not the mount drop. So I'm doing this because I'm here every Tuesday, because I get to spend the time with you guys. I'm enjoying the extra gold that I get from doing this. I am also enjoying improving my skill at running Siege, in that I'm trying my best to improve at not like bugging out bosses and at not getting too sidetracked killing trash, that kind of thing. So I'm just trying to do a little better every time. See if I can catch up on chat a little bit. My son always gets excited about Joker. A puppy sleeping. Forsaken confirmed. Self-corrective reverse amputation. Oh dear. Finally got Triumph of Nomergon. Now only need the perfectly timed differential to get the meta done. Nice. Triumph is absolutely the hardest part. What's the perfectly timed differential from again? What's that one from? My secret to perfect potatoes is, honey, please make me potatoes, and they come out perfect every time. There's the secret strat. We all gotta borrow your honey. Okay. Share them around. Buy garlic supposed to be stronger, use less, or try to grow some yourself. Guys, when I get a garden, it's all over. You guys will never see me again. And when you do, I'll just have like dirt on my face. And I'll be showing you guys like some kind of wimpy plants that I'm overly proud of. And you guys are just going to have to be like, oh man, that's great, dear. Good work. You know? Tachyon33, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Baked potato haste food. I got some of that in my bags. I really should not have started talking about food so early. I have indeed made myself hungry. Oh boy. How many attempts are you on for the mount? 30 something? Not that many, honestly. I do think I need to start running this off stream. Because not that many. I've seen some of your YouTube videos, but this is the first time I've watched you stream. Welcome, Aaron. I hope that whatever expectations you may have, this meets some of them. Any of them. I would settle for any of them. Perfectly timed differentials, the rank 2 essence pattern. Got it from the second clear of King Mech. Chat has me cementing dinner ideas. That's from King Mechagon. Gotcha. Any tips for getting the data anomaly vinyl? I'm stuck on that one. Yeah. I need to perfect a speech because I know how I did it, and it's tough for me to explain. The best chances you can give yourself at any of the data anomaly drops are from summoning and killing the 4 elites every day. You can do it every day, even if the quest is not up. But in order to set yourself up for that grind, you need to do a couple of things on a day when the quest is up. I will do my best to explain. Athro93, thank you very much for the 5 months. So, alright. Imagine a day, data anomaly is up. You pick up the quest, you go do it, you summon the dude, turn in the quest. At that point, you can now farm for 4 different items, which will, when used at the little dude, summon 4 elite, well, of 8, but 4 categories of elite data anomaly summons that those have a chance to drop the stuff. So after having turned in the normal quest for a day, your farms include one of the items can drop off of the trogs, another item can drop off of the sentry guys, whatever they're called, the armored sentries, something like that. And then I want to say one of them is recycling, one of them is rec rig, not 100% on that, but you don't even need all 4 of them, as many as you can get. If you can just get the trog and the sentry ones, that's great. So basically do the quest, farm trogs, farm sentries, try to get yourself like the cracked storage fragment or cracked data disk, that kind of thing. Wowhead has a write-up, and maybe I should do a video, even though it's kind of late in the game, of what those 4 things are. But get yourself those, as many as you can. And then you bring them back to the guy. It'll have a quest you can pick up. You bring it back. You start the quest, and then you kill the rare mob. But those quests, the ones that start from the items in your bags, those ones you do not turn in. Once you have summoned the guy, gotten your kill for the day, you can abandon the quest, and then summon it again the following day. Those are the things that have a chance to drop you the stuff. The normal data anomalies do not. So that's where I really got stuck, was I figured that just by doing the regular data anomaly quest every day, it would eventually all drop for me. And my understanding is that is not true. So the other thing that makes it a little bit nicer is that anybody can tag the elite when it's summoned. So you don't even have to do this. You could get lucky and just kill other people's elite spawns. So you could, on a data anomaly day, just hang out there and keep killing them until you've gotten 1 of each category. That can also work, but it's easier and you have more control over the whole process if you can summon them yourself. I understand that I may not have explained this fully. I should really do a write-up or something so I can at least share like a Google Doc or something, because it's so much better once you get it, and it took me like ages to figure it out. And it's not like I figured it out on my own. Like, people explained it to me over and over and over again, and then I read Wowhead comments explaining it over and over and over again, and then I finally put all the pieces together. It took me a while. Chive, Philly, basil, tuna with some wild rocket on my baked potato. What's wild rocket? Like, that sounds good. I don't know if I've ever tried putting tuna or like other fish or seafood on a baked potato. Maybe that's what I need to make it. Maybe I just need to add some protein in there. Ermelin P, thank you very much for the bits. Appreciate that. Got all the blueprints after I killed the rares only. Floyd here now. Sup, man? How you doing? Be lazy, stand there, attack when they spawn. That can also work, but you're going to have way more chances if you can summon them every day. Even if you can just summon 1 or 2 of them every day. I only ever got 2 of those items. I got the Sentry one and the Trog one. I didn't get the rest of the items to drop for me. But, like, the second day of summoning them, the last thing I needed happened. Rocket is arugula. Ah, I see. Okay, this is it. So I press this. It's going to open the gate. We're going to walk through. Oh, boy. 2 more blueprints, 1 vinyl for the mech mount. The meta mount. Very, very nice. It's so worth it. That wheel is so much fun. I am sad to say that I haven't ridden it as much as I would like, but that's just because it's a ground mount and we're in a flying mount world now. I guess I could have ridden it on my alt that I was leveling, but she can fly now. And she's a druid, so she doesn't even fly in flying mounts. Mayo is really nice on a jacket potato with a heavy sprinkle of spring onion on top. Ooh. I did last night for dinner, and again, this food talk is a bad idea, and I will make myself hungrier. I made that sweet potato sandwich, which incidentally, I posted my recipe in the Discord. I made a new recipe channel for us. If you want to check it out, it's there. But I made the sandwich, and the thing that I think really helps pull the sandwich together, basically, if you've never heard me talk about this, you know, it's I cook some sweet potato, I cook some onions, and then I sort of stack them together. The onions are like balsamic glazed. I stack it all together with like some feta cheese and some aioli on like a nice toasted bun, and it's like a nice tasty sandwich that takes way too long to make, but I made it one day when I was very hungry and also very stubborn and also wanted a fancy sandwich, and then decided to solve my own problems and make it for myself. So I don't know, it's tasty. But one of the thing that really pulls the sandwich together is the sauce that I make for it, which is essentially, I never used to like mayo, and I still don't. As a young person, why do I talk so much about my childhood? It's not that relevant. I just hated mayo growing up, and I thought it was very gross. Still kind of do. But it's not just mayo. You mix mayo with a bunch of garlic minced as tiny as you can. You get a little salt in there, a little pepper in there, a little lemon juice in there. You mix that all together and let it sit together while you are caramelizing your onions and cooking your potatoes. And then it kind of like turns into this dressing that I don't think it's a true aioli. I think that like actual aioli fanatics will fight me on what constitutes an aioli and how you make it. But if you ever had like a restaurant sandwich that was dressed with a garlic aioli, it tastes essentially like this. And I have not, like, it's a really easy sauce to throw together. It's just lemon juice, garlic, salt, pepper, and mayo. But it's tasty, and you know what? Now that you mention it, that might be good on some kind of a potato dish. That might be kind of nice. I've been farming Rust Feather lately. The last rare drop I still need for Mechagon. 80 attempts so far, no luck. You're set up, though. You got that dedication. Are you farming it with alts in that, like, are you trying to get multiple tags in per spawn? Because I was doing that for a little bit. I need to, well, I don't know. I probably shouldn't get back into doing that. It's kind of time consuming. Sounds fantastic. Mistake number 1, didn't have breakfast. Mistake number 2, watching Hazel on an empty stomach. Mistake number 3, planning something potato-y for an early lunch. No. I think that the third one's not a mistake. I think that the third one is inspiration. This tea is a creme brulee tea. It's a black tea. I have prepared it in my BlizzCon mug, and I had some serious mug anxiety. But like, I preheated 3 separate mugs this morning because I didn't know which one I wanted to make it in. I think I've decided that if I'm making just like a black tea, I usually make a small pot and it's like 1.5 cups, and I never enjoy the second half cup. So I've decided I'm just gonna make it in a mug and just have one mug, and that's always the best part anyway, so I'm just gonna make that much. And I was going back and forth between this and the Murloc mug, trying to figure out if the Murloc mug had more capacity. And then, you know, the Murloc mug is more instantly recognizable and cute, but this one, like, it has the nice round opening that will fit my tea strainer in. It was a whole thing. And that was really the moment when I realized that I need to go outside more. I need to see some of the world. Do you think they will ever do an update which allows all mounts to be able to fly? No, absolutely not. I think they could, like, if they see a mount that already exists that I think would be fun if it flew, I think they would probably just make a newer version of that mount and allow it to fly then. I don't think they're going to go back and make all the existing mounts able to fly. I just had a stir fry. I am immune to hunger during this food chat. You can tag the same rust feather with alts. I've been farming it with alts in separate spawns. Yes. So basically what you need to do, you tag it, and then you got to get onto your next character really quickly, which means you cannot wait that 20-second logout time. So I have all my characters out there. I wait for it to spawn. You want to see it right at the top of the spawn. Tag it really quick. Alt F4 to insta-quit your game, and then load it back up so you can log into your next character faster. Some people with really fast computers can do this 3 times. I have only ever been able to do it twice. I just settle for 2 tags per spawn. And then you go back to your, maybe 3. But then after you kill it, you can loot it on the last character you're on. And then when you log back onto the earlier characters, they will have whatever loot was dropped for them in their mail. I have heard somebody confirm in a Wowhead comment that they have had the mount arrive in the mail to them like that. And I've also had other rust feather drops, like, you know, the spare parts and the blueprints. They will come in the mail, so that way you can do a few in one go. It will be easier if you have an SSD, for sure. Rust feather now insta swarmed and dead. It definitely depends on how long it takes for him to go down. Yeah, it's only going to get worse though, right? Like in future patches. I guess it depends on how many people continue to farm and camp him. Because in a future patch, when everybody gets more powerful, he'll die more quickly. So you'd think that he's only going to die faster from here. Rust feather blueprint also drops from the gorilla. Anyone else still or used to eat cheese, tomato, mayo sandwiches as a child, or was I just lazy? I have never heard of that. Cheese, tomato, and mayo. Never tried that one. I'm drinking a summer rose tea from Adagio with lavender and Earl Grey moonlight added. That sounds fancy. How are you immune to food speak? I sometimes get hungry from food speak while eating. We will watch usually something on Netflix while we have our dinner. And whenever there is any kind of episode of the Great British Bake Off or baking show in the States, we'll have our dinner and watch that. And somehow, even though I am currently consuming food while watching the show, it still makes me, it's not even that I become hungry, it's that just I want whatever they're making, you know? Oh boy. Only have 2 characters at 120, don't need a 3 tag. 2 tag might be good though, you might be able to fit that in. Engineers should be able to make a jetpack to adapt ground mats. Flying long boy, oh boy. Not even a jetpack? What about like a little tiny blimp balloon, like a little helium powered blimp balloon at the top of it, so it's just like flying along in a harness. It's just been suspended into the air. Jelly market died, none of my auctions are selling. At least over on my server, the price crashed. I sold a couple of them last night because I stopped by and picked up a few more of them. My apologies for the yawning. I sold a few of them last night, and they did all sell overnight, but price tanked. Like 300 gold for an epic jelly, but that's fair. You know, that's fine. I made it pretty good while the going was good, so I don't feel too bad about like missing all of it. Mentioned how expensive low-level crafting mats were to my guildies. They were stunned. Didn't know it was that bad. Don't they know I need WoW sub money? What's one question that you wish viewers would ask, but they never do? Or never have? That's a tough one, just because I'm not shy about just saying whatever I'm thinking. So I'm usually not waiting for somebody to prompt me with a question. Like, if there's something I want to talk about, I'm just going to be like, so what do you guys think about potatoes? I'm not going to, like, wait for a question. I always like talking about, and I don't do it much because it's not appealing to the wider audience, but I always like talking about editing and production and behind the scenes stuff. Because sometimes talking about it gives me new ideas, or hearing about how other people do it gives me ideas, and that's something I don't get a whole lot of. Like, I really miss that peer interaction of being able to compare how you do things against how somebody else does things that I used to get when I would work in a setting with around other people. So I like those kind of questions, but I'm just kind of down for whatever. I love tomato sandwiches. Used to have one every day when I grew tomatoes. Didn't usually put cheese, but salt and pepper. Cheese tomato toasties. Not sure if that counts as a sandwich. I get weirded out every time I hear Americans talk about mayo on sandwiches, even though I know your mayo is completely different from ours. What other kind of mayo is there? Also, not just Americans. Some Canadians love their mayo too, but they're not shy about it for sure. Murloc sandwiches, goodness. I tried the Adagio peach tea, gonna buy the full size soon. I like that one, it's tasty. I do feel a little bit betrayed after I found out that all of these really delightful peach teas were mostly actually apricot flavored, but maybe it's just the case that when people think they want, like maybe apricot just brings out peach flavors, or maybe people think they want peach, but they actually want apricot, and I just have to accept that I thought I did, but I don't, you know? So right, Sat, welcome, good morning. I am doing mount runs today. Tuesdays are my traditional mount run day, so usually we will be in some raid or another. Killing bosses, or a boss, hopefully twice. It has a chance to drop some loot. I need to summon a vendor. I'm running out of room in my bags here, so let's see. Argent. Let me get my Argent Squire out and have him buy my stuff real quick. Where'd he go? There he is. There he is. No, that's wrong. Not the Squire. Guild? Page? Yeah, you. Alright, sorry. Not the Argent Squire. He could do cool things, but I never taught him to. I did not farm the saddle or whatever for him, so instead it's all about this guild page. Angie Lola, thank you very much for the 2 months. Appreciate it. Welcome back. Let's see here. So much loot. So much loot. It's really satisfying to watch the vendor amounts in auto vendor, just like 200 gold, 280 gold, 300 gold, 300 gold, just over and over and over again. And then we can throw all this in. Don't need any of that. Don't need any of that. Oh, I guess he's... Yeah, that's good enough. That's close enough. That'll be enough room. We just got to get through Paragons, get through Garrosh, and then we can start all this all over again. Not for me. I'd rather have salad cream. We used to have a dressing. A salad dressing. I think I had a name. It's like a French cream. I don't know if it's French. It was like a... We used to call it Auntie's salad dressing with the name of the aunt in there because she really liked it. So I don't remember what the actual name of it was. I want to say it was like some kind of a French cream. Let's see here. Potatoes fit with every meal. You can mash them, boil them, or stick them in a stew. Do you wish you had $1 for every time somebody asks you if Joker's a husky puppy? Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. I don't know if I would be rich, but I would definitely have a little savings fund going. I also don't really mind though. Like, it's a very easy conclusion to come to. I probably would ask exactly the same thing if I saw him because like you see him and he looks like a husky but tiny. So your first thought is, oh, that's a baby, but it doesn't look quite right because he doesn't have the proportions of a puppy. He doesn't have the big paws. He's not clumsy. He's like obviously fairly confident in his movements and does not look happy to see you. So he doesn't really give off puppy vibes. And that sort of mismatch, that confusion leads people to ask and want to know more about it. And also they just want to talk to him because he's cute. So I absolutely understand where it's coming from. How many monitors do you use? I only use one, really want another for watching videos while playing WoW so I don't have to use my phone. Yes, the second monitor life is the best way to do it in my opinion. I have 3 right now. I have 2 horizontal monitors. They are 27 inches. They're only 60 hertz, but they are 4K because I edit videos in 4K and I record videos in 4K and I just, you know, I like the pixels. And then I have one more monitor on the side here, which is a vertical monitor. That one's only 1080 because it only needs to be. And hang on. Dissector's the one that has to go. That one's only 1080, and I love the vertical monitor as a companion streaming monitor because chat. I keep chat in there, I keep my activity monitor on there, and I throw my my OBS there too, so I can see my broadcast and stuff like that. But I really like that 1 and then a vertical for streaming. However, 3 is too many for anything else. Like it's unnecessary. I find 90% of the time I'm just using 2, and often I will even turn off the third one because something about a monitor with no content playing on it, it's kind of like itchy to my brain. Like I look at it and I kind of feel like, oh, I should have something on there. And it's inherently distracting, especially in a moment where I'm just waiting for something. Like the worst is if I'm on a flight path or I'm waiting for a loading screen. If it takes longer than like 5 seconds, all of a sudden I'm like, what should I do to kill this like minute and a half of time, which is such a silly thing. Like I can just chill. I don't need to open up a YouTube video or something. But the extra monitor sometimes feels like it is inviting it. So I'll just turn the third one off. 2 is the way to go. 2 monitors, matching sizes if you can. I particularly enjoy getting the smallest bezels that I can and a picture that goes as close to the edge of the monitor as possible so that you have more of a seamless side-by-side experience. And then, yeah, 24s. And if you can afford nicer ones with a higher refresh rate, I would do that over a higher resolution. You don't need 4K, but if you can get 120 hertz monitors, that's the good stuff. That's fine. That's going to be my recreation setup if I ever do that. Let's see. Where is my bro? There's another bro. Is he stuck? Did I get a bro stuck? Or did I just kill him already? Oh yeah, I already killed Rick. That's right. We're good. We're good. A lot of regular things like mayo has a different taste in America versus a lot of other places. Dr. Pepper. The US one tastes different than the English one, even different from the Irish one. I know America, and this is a stereotype, but it's somewhat rooted in truth. Food-wise, at least for consumer food off the shelf in like a grocery store, tends to be, like they really sweeten it. High fructose corn syrup makes its way into a lot of foods where you wouldn't necessarily expect it. The thing that really gets me is bread. Bread is sweet in Canada, I think, compared to like Europe, but bread here, there's only 1 or 2 bread brands that I can buy that I trust will taste like bread because sometimes you get it and it tastes like cake. And I don't want cake. I want bread. It does not need to be like sweet. That's not the point. If I want a sweet bread thing, I'm going to slap on some jam or some honey or some, you know, I just don't need it. I just don't need cake. If I want a cake, I would have a cake, you know? Peach the color, not peach the fruit, perhaps. Oh, perhaps. Have you heard the Mechanome Volpera silly flirt emotes? If not, you should do a video. I think I did a video reacting to the Volpera ones, like way back when they were first added as a regular race, like early BFA. I haven't seen Mechanomes yet though, so I should take a look at those. You can sell things to the page. Mine did not want my stuff. Hey Hazel and chat's up, Gia. I would love to have his breed. I always wanted a husky, but that breed wouldn't be good for how we live. To be honest and fair and transparent with you, if you don't have the space or the time to get a husky all of the exercise it needs, a Klekai is not going to be much better for you. They are smaller, but they have very high energy levels. They have high exercise requirements. They're very smart. They need to be occupied. They can be needy. They can be anxious, and they also shed a lot. We can get by with him being in an apartment because he steps lightly, so he's not going to be like big and stompy like a big dog, so that's nice, but I still have to take him out every single day for like exercise. Otherwise, he just goes nuts. Vertical for chat. Vertical is actually really nice for a lot of things on the internet these days. A lot of things I find will, you know, you have a lot of wasted space on the sides of your monitor, and then you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to see more stuff. So if I'm looking through Twitter, if I am looking through like Wowhead comments on a thing, it displays so much better vertically because you can fit the whole content, the whole comment in from side to side of the monitor. And then by having it vertically, you don't have all this wasted space in the sides, and it just goes all the way so much farther down. Every dog is a puppy, don't at me. Someone needs to mix it up and ask if he's a husky. What alts are you going to be running next X-Pack? Thinking going Resto, Enhanced Shaman, Fury Warrior, and Fire Mage. I don't know if I've ever had, like, I play my Priest, and that's like my main. And then I play my Resto Druid once in a while. And everything else I feel like just becomes a mount run character. I don't feel like I really play anything else. I went through that phase where I was like, I'm gonna be a Mistweaver monk, and then I realized I don't have time. So I want to say I'll probably stick to what I've been doing. I'll probably just do mostly the priest and a little bit of the druid. I used to have 3 screens, sometimes still too little space. I'm always using my third, especially when writing. It is also really nice while editing, because when I'm editing, maybe I'm just not organized enough, but I really like to spread my stuff out. So I'll have like my Premiere is on my main monitor over here, but on my left hand side, I still like to have a folder that shows all of my footage, all of my assets, so that they're all named, so that if I forget what I called something, so I don't know how to pull it up, I can still like sort of scan over that page and see, oh yeah, that's what I named that file. That's right. Necromonger, thank you very much for the sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. I like having a book nearby for flight path time. That's, I think, the move. I need maybe some reference texts. Like, I'm finding that it's very hard to outright quit a bad habit, such as picking up your phone to distract yourself, or, you know, whatever. It's hard to quit, and it's easier if you can replace it with something. And finding the right thing to replace it with, I feel like, is a ongoing process. Some references of something that I actually need to learn might be good. Second one is a small TV. Main is an MSI curved monitor. I used to have 3. I ended up getting an ultra wide as my secondary mounted above my main. Having at least a second one, I find, is great, because even if you're not gonna multitask and you're not gonna like watch YouTube or Netflix or anything while you're playing, being able to just like look up something on Wowhead, or just Google a fact, or see Discord and see Discord chat and see who's talking in Discord without having the overlay, without having to tab out, is amazing. I don't think I could really do one monitor again. Whenever I'm traveling, I'm on my laptop, I end up propping up my tablet next to it, just that I have a separate reference thing. At least the second one I feel like is important. The third one you can give or take depending on your needs, but 2 is the good stuff. 144, so much nicer for WoW. I used to have 240 hertz before, a little too much for just WoW. Yeah, I've never had anything higher than a 60 hertz monitor, but to be fair, I cap my game at 60 FPS because that gives me the extra headroom on my graphics processing to be able to encode, like to stream and record and run the game all at the same time. I need that extra room. Like if I try and run it at 4K 200 FPS, I might be able to squeak it out, but I'm not going to be able to also encode that file at the same time. There's just no way. I am doing it wrong in that I really want to run everything off one computer. A lot of people that are content creators that stream and do YouTube, they'll have a computer running the game and a separate computer that is encoding, running the stream, recording. That is the better way to do it. But I don't want 2 keyboards at my desk. It breaks my brain. I can sometimes I put my laptop on my desk. Also, no bueno, but that was my 30th attempt. That was my attempt number 30, so time to go start up attempt number 31, I suppose. Yeah, no, 2 keyboards at my desk, nah. Nah. It's bad enough troubleshooting one computer. Oh, boy. Wish me good luck on my test tomorrow? You don't need good luck. You are prepared. You are ready. Good luck to you. But you don't need it. You got this. Oh, he's good. Okay. I have my druid. She is all set up by the door. Let's see if I can talk and move. Talk and move. She McCleekai mix. She never stops moving. I may give the wrong impression of Joker based on the fact that whenever I have him on camera, he's in his bed because, you know, that's the only time I can get him on camera. I don't have like a running cam on him. But usually by the time he's done that, we've already done like a good hour outside in the morning. This Orgrimmar quest is up today. Wish me luck on the vinyl. Good luck. If anyone is afraid to make their own bread, try a no need type. Most are fairly stupid proof. I gotta give bread another couple of goes. Let's see. Oh, I am behind. Oh, this was from a while ago. The bread in Korea is as sweet in the US, so every foreign blogger who lives there says. Dragons After Dark, thanks for the host. Let's see, I draw one on flight paths and stuff. Maybe that's what I should do. I draw a little bit every day, and I do it first thing in the morning because, like, that is when my habits are most stable. Nothing has happened to me yet in my day to throw me off my rhythm, so I have no good excuse to not do the things that I plan to do first thing. So I, like, crawl out of bed, you know, put on a pot of coffee, wash my face, and then I sit down on the couch for half an hour before I leave, and I make myself draw for half an hour every day because I really enjoy well, you know what it is, I really enjoy having drawn. I don't enjoy drawing at all because I feel awful at it and I'm not where I want to be. I need to work through like some classes or some lessons or tutorials or something because I'm missing some fundamental skills. But I just really hate the process and it takes me so long to do anything, and maybe I just need to weave little bits of it in more often. I just get so frustrated. Farming the WoD raid for what? I am after the Korkron Juggernaut, which is the mount dropping off a Mythic Garrosh. Looks like a scorpion. It's got like a drill on one hand. It's wild. But I mostly just want it because I don't want to have like a gap in raid mounts, and I have all of the raid drop mounts up until this point, so I can't move on to the WoD raids until I have this one. That fight is so long. Let's see. A little bit of this, a little bit of this. See if I can heal a couple of the Healy blobs too. I wonder if I can get my Immersius kill down to fewer phases if I'm a little bit better at healing and DPSing the various blobs. I want an ultra-wide 1440, accepts 2 inputs, acts as 2 separate, so I can full screen something of the other half, no bezels. Interesting. I feel like that's going to be more about the software. Well, most monitors that I know of have multiple inputs, but I've never heard of one running both at once. I've never heard of one running both at once. I'm sure it's possible. I don't know if any of them are set up for it. I don't notice a big difference between 60 and 144. Yeah, I live my life just fine capped at 60 FPS. Like, I never really feel like my game is slow. But my understanding of high frame rate, and this has mostly just come from watching too many MKBHD videos where he talks about it, is that once you see it, it's hard to go back. Like, once you've gotten used to it, then you can notice the jitteriness in lower frame rates. But looking at this right now, looking at what I'm seeing, looking at what you guys are seeing, this seems fine. I can play well like this just fine. It's okay. We good. Cat or Pepper's on the pet bed? That is Kitty. Kitty cat. She is, you can kind of see some cat ears sort of on the left-hand side of the bed. Sleepy baby over there. She's making me sleepy. That cat is a nap pusher. Only attempt 30. It feels like you've done this for weeks. It's because every single attempt takes an hour. I am so slow at this. I must just get too distracted by trash. That's got to be it, right? Like, why else does it take me an hour when people say they can get through this in half an hour? Programs that allow you to use one keyboard for 2 PCs. Yeah, but then I get into a situation, and you're probably right, and that's probably the way to go, but like, I'm just imagining myself being like, why doesn't my keyboard work? And I've forgotten that I switched it to the other one. Although, you know what you can do? If you have software, you know what would be helpful? If you have software that, as you say, switches your keyboard as an input between 2 computers, and you also have a keyboard that's like an RGB, you know, like fireworks light show keyboard. If you can macro it so that it is a different color depending on which computer it is inputting into, that might work. That might be the visual indicator I need to differentiate, as it were. Joker didn't look too happy when you left for BlizzCon. He, like, a lot of people, so I posted a little video when I was leaving for BlizzCon of saying goodbye to him in the airport, and he didn't really want to, like, have anything to do with me. And I think some people interpreted that to mean that he knows I'm leaving and he's mad at me. And that's a possibility, I suppose. He definitely knows I'm leaving. He doesn't care. He does not like me enough to care that I'm going anywhere. He just was like, you know, upset about being taken out and held. He just doesn't like being picked up. And whenever he's inside of the airport, we hold him or have him in like a harness or a backpack or something to comply with airport rules. So he was just like unhappy that he was being held. And he was like, just leave me alone. Having a bad day, just you can go and just go. I don't think he was actually like missing me or anything. He was happier when I got back. He gave me some kisses when I got back. I think he missed me a little bit after I had already been gone. Yeah, no lockout sharing for Siege, unfortunately, or else this would be a very different stream and we would be like 4 raids ahead by now. Very admirable. I should draw more often too. It's something. It's something. It's one of those things that becomes frustrating. Like, I feel like I can learn any skill that I want to if I understand, like, I try to understand the principles and I practice. And I get really frustrated when I get into that middle stage where I know what I'm doing wrong and I know where I need to improve and I know what mistakes I'm making, but I am not good enough yet to not make those mistakes. That is the part that upsets me the most, is when I know I'm making mistakes and I know what they are and I know that they're bad and I just don't feel like I can help myself. I get that way with drawing, I get that way with writing, and I get that way with time management, and then also arena. That's the worst, is when you know what you're doing wrong and you just feel like you don't have any control over it, even though it's you and you're doing your best. Worst part. Hate that. Drives me nuts. At least you are not also farming the plate shoulders. I don't even want the mount, I just want the tusks. It's gonna be a bad day if the tusks drop, because I'm not farming on a plate character. I love drawing, but hate it at the same time. Took an hour to draw one of Arthas's shoulder plates because I keep messing it up. I feel you. I feel you. And I know that really experienced artists can just like knock out sketches really quickly. And I just want that so badly, because I draw 2 pictures a month. And each one of them takes me like 2 weeks of working on every single day. And I know that somebody that experienced could just like slap the thing that I did out in like 20 minutes. And it drives me nuts, because it's not like I'm new in the sense that I've never been trained and that I started, you know, like after I started YouTube, but it's been a couple of years. I feel like I should be farther along by now, and that's on me for not taking more time to actively try to learn and work through tutorials and just kind of like fuddle my way through it. How do you feel about the Reddit post about class items that appear in your character? Quavers Hunters, Tomes Paladins, 3D models that add flavor to your character aesthetically. I didn't see the post. I'm off Reddit these days, but I've seen those kind of conversations around, and I love that idea. I was really shocked when I went back to Classic and discovered that in Classic, my hunter had a quiver just on her back. I thought that was very cool, and I was surprised that that was something that we had that ended up going away and then kind of coming back with like Legion artifacts and then going away again. That just felt very strange to me. Especially when they've talked about bringing them back, and they are doing more things with the back slot. I think they are sort of mixing it up, but all that stuff looks great. I want the Deathway mount, but don't want to buy BFA. I mean, this is a struggle, but just be mindful that once the Deathway mount is gone, it will be gone. Keyboard switcher has a light on it. I'm so used to your green hair now. I love it. Suits you so well. I've been looking through past pictures of my hair, trying to figure out which version of it I like the best is, because I'm still getting used to this. But I do kind of like this. I almost think the shorter hair suits me a little better now. Like, I really liked the long hair on me, but because it was so long, it was very hard for me to manage and would often be really messy. And my hair is still really messy, but because it's shorter, it's not as much of a disaster. So this is, you know, I almost feel like I'm growing up a little bit. I feel like that's a fairly normal thing as you get older to shorten your hair a little bit. And I used to kind of dread that moment, but I feel like maybe it's okay. Maybe we're doing all right. Boy, don't try to justify the existence of RGB components. Here to see you get that mount. Come on, RNG. Oh, I'm a little behind here. That's why Bob Ross is so mesmerizing. It looks so easy. So easy. It's so not easy. I love coloring. That's my favorite part. Like, I'll scrape out something that vaguely looks like line work, and that's the worst. And then once I get to coloring, that's my favorite. Like, that's the part that you do for fun. That's what people download apps for, just so that they can like forget all those proportions and perspective and all that. Just like, let's just let me color. Just let me color. Coloring's fun. Will we see one or some of your drawings one day? If you want to share some of them, haven't shared them already somewhere. So the drawings that I do that I put out, it's a Patreon thing plus a sub thing. So Twitch subs can actually get access to them via Discord, as can Patrons or YouTube sponsors. I do a wallpaper every month. So this is the wallpaper that I did last month. And it's actually one of the favorite ones because it was really fun to color the butterfly. That's the poppy butterfly from Stormsong. And then I do so that's like a mobile format. And then I do sort of a 4x6 card thing that I will print out and sign and mail to my legendary patrons every month. So those are the two that I do. Oh boy. When did you start WoW? 2008, I believe. I was 16 or so, high school, 10th, 11th grade, somewhere in around there. And all my friends played and I felt left out. Loving the bright green highlight in your hair. Do you know what brand they used? Pulp Riot. I believe that this was all Pulp Riot. Adult coloring books are my favorite. Now, when you say adult coloring books, you mean like adult coloring books or adult coloring books? I imagine there's probably both. I feel like there's a market for both. I took a trip to Florida 2010 or so. Like, I just graduated high school. My mom and I went on a trip together. We went to Orlando. We did Disney World. And I have some photos from that trip. Not very many. But the one that makes me remember the trip the most, I'm in the hotel room. I'm wearing like a big oversized black Disney hoodie that my mom bought for me because I was cold. And I'm like crouched on the bed like a bird. And I'm crouched over a coloring book that I bought with like some markers, just like coloring in Disney coloring pages as like, 17 years old. Basically not grown up at that point, but also not really a child either. And just having the best time at Disney, but just in the hotel coloring on the bed. I don't know why I didn't color at the desk. That would have made more sense, but yawning today and yesterday, and I don't know what's up with it. I swear I'm getting enough sleep. I've been going to bed at like 9:30, 10, like an old lady. I'm getting up on time. I'm getting decent sleep. I don't know what's up with me. I should be caught up on my BlizzCon sleep debt by now. It's a really cute wallpaper. What are the channel points? They are, if you've ever seen like loyalty points in a Twitch streamer's channel that are done by the bot, where you like accumulate for watching the stream and then you can spend them on silly stuff, that's kind of the idea. Being logged into Twitch and then watching the stream will give your account channel points with my channel, and then you can redeem them for basically nothing. You can like highlight a message, you can modify an emote of mine, you can unlock an emote if you're not a sub. That kind of thing. You can unlock an emote for a day. That's about it. It's just like a fun thing. I haven't really set any custom rewards because I don't want to sign myself up for anything I'm not ready to fulfill. Wallpaper buddies with Hazel. I adore this month's. I am working on next month's right now, and I think it's going to be really cute if I can get it together, but I'm struggling so much with it right now. I've spent like 3 days working on the same part, just like moving it around and redrawing it and redrawing it and redrawing it. I'm like, oh, I just want to get to the part where I have it all laid out so I can color. Oh boy. Also started in 2008, just before Wrath dropped. Maybe my dates are off then, because maybe it was 2009? I know it was late high school. I also, I remember that ICC had just come out, and the group finder had just come out. It was like patch 3.3? Something like that? I don't know. I had no idea what was going on. I was a lost, clueless baby sheep. Not a clue. I was such a noob. Like, everybody's a noob, but I was new to not only WoW, but I was mostly new to MMOs. I had played one or two, so PC gaming for me, I guess, if we're backing it all the way up, PC gaming for me started, I had computer games as a kid. I had Muppets Inside. I had this goofy point-and-click thing called Stay Tuned. And then the internet got a little bigger, and I started getting into Neopets and just those mini games, which again, different experience. Like, my friends, their brothers would all play Halo on their Xboxes and whatever, and people would play Grand Theft Auto, but I wasn't really invited to those parties. The most gaming that I had gotten done was Guitar Hero at somebody's birthday or something. So when all my friends started getting into WoW, I wanted to play because I was bored and it looked like fun, but WoW had a sub fee, and I was a teenager and I did not have a job, and I did not want to ask my mother to give me money for a video game. That seemed very spoiled, so I didn't want to do that, and I wanted to look for free ones. So I Googled online and I found a free MMO to play so that I could have my own game that I didn't have to pay a sub for. And I ended up playing Shaya Online, which was an Asian one. It had some very scantily clad goddesses that had this whole goddess mechanic. I played that for a couple of months, but at some point, I don't know what happened. Either I just caved and asked my mom, or she found out and took pity on me, but I eventually got set up with a WoW sub, and then started getting myself caught up. It's a fun thing, but not really a fun thing. Yeah, I mean, I could disable the channel points if they're just more confusing than they are rewarding. It just, the thing that I always like about them, like I used to spend a lot more time watching streams than I do because I procrastinate in different ways now. But I used to spend a bunch of time watching streams, and I loved streams that had channel points, not so much because I wanted to gamble or redeem song requests or anything like that. I wanted to just have a big total so that I could be at like the top of the leaderboard and just like look at a number and be like, wow, look at how much time I've spent in this stream. That was my favorite part. I just wanted to accumulate them. Is that all my cannons? There's one gonna go off there. I think I missed one. 6K of these things. Fun always comes as a price. Oh, there's the last one. That's it. Does Patreon or Twitch subs help you more? Want to sub to something? Want to support you best way? Patreon gives me a bit of a bigger cut. However, if you like coming to Twitch streams a lot, that's fun because then you get your icon, you get your emotes, and you will also get the wallpaper like on Patreon. So whichever one seems more fun to you. It's a slightly bigger cut from Patreon, but not enough for me to get worried about it. Captain Biscuit 204, thank you very much for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. And Girl from Mars with the 3 months already. Enjoying the stream, homesick from work today. Hope you're having a good day, Hazel. I hope you feel better soon. I hope that your day off helps you get back on your feet. And at least you have a day off to hopefully just like rest and stay hydrated and warm and, you know, watch something that you really want to see. Started in 2009, Wrath released November 8. I probably started in 2009. That probably makes sense. I'm just counting backwards. I know I graduated in 2010, and I know that I started playing before my grad year. I remember being 16. I don't know. Dates confuse me. I guess if it launched at the end of 08. Maybe I was 17. I don't know when anything happened. It was Wrath. Oh man. Excuse me, pardon me. I remember this dude on Neopets who cornered the market on pet pets. Me and my cousins were trying super hard to figure out how they were making all those Neo points and trying to emulate them. Neopet stores were legit. They let you, and I never got good at it, but they let you like put up, they let you code in your own backgrounds and have auto playing songs and like little dancing icons and stuff like that, but you had to, I want to say it was HTML, like you had to actually write it together. It wasn't like a very modern interface. I never got super good at it, but I really like the whole stores aspect of it. You should set up the gamble. I love that little game. I don't know if channel points comes with that. I don't know if channel points comes with a gamble function. Hazel, are you targeting anything on Black Friday? No, I probably should be. There's a few things that I want in the next like year or so. Or at least before the next BlizzCon, but it's hard to just justify money, especially before the end of the year. Like if I wait until next year, then I can put it on next year's tax returns and then I don't have to like have that plus the camera to explain to my accountant. I like to do like one large purchase per year. So I don't know. Usually what I do is I just procrastinate spending money until I can finally justify it and then I just pay whatever full price is. Yawning so much because his raid is so long. Mercy lab coat skin event. I hadn't seen that. And Nastalok, thank you very much for the 4 months. Got delayed con plague. I thought it was in the clear after a week. I've heard that going around on Twitter. People saying that they were free, but then it caught up to them like a week later. They were incubating. That sucks. That really sucks. Insane amount of Neopoints and Neopets still have millions. Yeah, I never bought, I had some. Most of my income was from games though. Like I was grinding. I did not have the ins and outs of like the market sorted out. I was more about Mirka Chase and doing like the dailies and the potato counter. What a weird game that was. You know what I really liked playing was the cheat. I used to like counting cards in the, and I'm not saying I'm cheating, I'm saying there's a card game called Cheat on Neopets where you're playing against digital opponents, but I really liked card counting to figure out what it was that they had. Like it seemed like it was a hard game, but it wasn't actually that hard, and I felt very proud to have figured it out, so I would do that all the time. Overwatch just updated. How long have you been on already? I've been going for an hour and 19 minutes or so. Skip quest from Mythic Blackrock Foundry. Been farming it for months. My alts haven't gotten it yet. Should be Khadgar hanging out somewhere in the beginning, right? I haven't been in there for a while. I don't know for sure. Started playing WoW in 09, stopped in 2012. Oh, no, I fell off. I can't do stairs and read. Hang on. One moment, please. There we go. Played for a minute in MOP, didn't return until August of this year. I've had a lot of learning to do. This game never stops, man. I have not taken a break since I started in Wrath, and I still struggle to keep up with what the changes are, and am blindsided by the fact that Healing Touch is just gone now. It just never stops changing, which I don't think is a bad thing. But it does mean that if you've taken a long break, it can feel like a totally different game when you come back. Am I gonna be okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. All of my pets subsisted from omelets from the omelet tree. Oh, yeah. What a weird concept that was. There was like a giant omelet in the desert. I guess maybe like that whole desert had like a dinosaur theme. So maybe a giant dinosaur laid an egg and it like broke and then cooked because it was the desert. So you would just go to the giant omelet and just like take a piece of omelet, and sometimes you would get different versions. I too fed my pets with the free food because like the store food was expensive and also like weirdly sponsored. Like you would go to McDonald's. You would go to Neopets McDonald's and buy them a Neopets Big Mac, and it would cost you way too many Neo points. I was not about that life. Sometimes I would, also the stores would like sell out. You had to like play a refresh game to try to buy stuff from the stores. I would buy stuff just to resell it. My Neopets account is old enough to have graduated high school. I quit when they changed the Battle Dome. I was always too afraid. I didn't understand the Battle Dome. I wanted to, and I didn't get it. Like the dodging ice cream game. Oh. Man, I'm going on a memory lane trip now. Remember the one, there was a conveyor belt one in like a spooky lab with like sweets of some sort. And then my go-to was Evil Fuzzles from Beyond the Stars, which at the time I thought was a shooting game. And I was like, I'm great at first-person shooters. I am top tier at Evil Fuzzles from Beyond the Stars. Later found out that's not how shooting games work. It's not just like a point and click on a static screen. But that game was great because you would progress and you would unlock upgrades, and you would have to choose like which upgrades that you wanted and repair your hull. It was great. No more Healing Touch, right? That's what I said. It's just gone apparently. Maybe they'll bring it back, and then like if I had just waited one more expansion to find out, assuming they bring it back in Shadowlands, which is not confirmed. But if they bring it back, maybe I could have like worked it out so I never would have found out. Would have been fine. Alright. I'm gonna vendor my stuff now, actually, while I'm still outside, because I always forget before I end up going down. Plus this I can kind of do while walking. And a little bit of this. I finally got this character. This is not very impressive, but I got her up to 1502s, which means that now when I Q2s, I can be earning progress towards my Vicious Mount, which is all I really want at this point. I'm not trying to be a gladiator right now. I'm not trying to push rating or find a proper team. I just want to like play to remember how to play and also get some Vicious Mounts, or at least this one before the season ends. So I'm excited that I managed to climb up to, I guess, 1492. But as long as you're above 1400, you're a combatant. And I was happy that I did that just by pugging LFG because, you know, it's one thing to get a little bit of rating if you play with a friend that's really good and it's twos and they just carry. But, like, you know, if you're just grabbing anybody, sometimes you got to try a little harder. After the maiden boss, Blackrock Foundry, there's an area with crates. The NPC with the quest is in there. How long does Blizzard take to answer a ticket? I'm losing a lot of rep because my anniversary buff disappeared. Ooh, there should be an estimated time. Yeah, maybe? No? Usually my tickets have been resolved within about a day, but I haven't had to place one. I have not had to place a ticket in the last like couple of years because well, my life's been pretty good. It's been okay. Like I haven't really needed anything. Usually I would say within 2 days, like 48 hours-ish. If you could buff one class or spec in the game, what would it be and what would you do to it? Buff just like damage numbers? I don't really keep up with much stuff. I just kind of live with a knowledge that every class does what it's going to do. I'm going to play what I'm going to play. Sometimes I shall be strong, sometimes I shall be weak. And then the patch changes, the tide turns, and I will do good or bad again. and it doesn't matter to me because I'm not a mythic raider. So, I would buff Shadow Priest in a way that rewards crazy high void form again, just so that, like, that's my favorite. You know, actually, you know what I do? Just for fun, and this is a bad idea, and I shouldn't actually do it if I got to, but, like, let's bring back Surrender to Madness. Let's bring back Emerald Nightmare version of Surrender to Madness, because holy heck was that fun. Such overpowered garbage, but so fun. Just the stakes. Dragons of Nightmare, Twin Dragons. Gosh, that fight was wild, because you would just get slept and you'd be like, no, I was so close. But if you didn't get slept, you could multi-dot in Surrender to Madness. Like, oh god, like the decision of when to pop it, when do I pop it, oh, so good. Autumn Alchemist, thank you very much for the 2 months. Glad to be a part of the Squirrel Squad, even if I'm not here to see the streams often. Well, glad to have you. Always welcome. Jam Glitter with the 3 months. Both of those at tier 2, actually. Thank you so much, guys. To make Chromie mad at you. Are you annoyed that Mechanomes can't have pink hair? I am both annoyed and relieved. I am annoyed because I don't get why, gameplay-wise, like, if they're willing to chop off their arm to put on a cooler one, why would they not be willing to dye their hair? That seems like it would just go with it. And then I'm annoyed because the colored hair is very important to me as a gnome. However, I'm relieved because this is another good excuse for me to not switch when I wasn't sure that I really wanted to anyways. I don't think that my priest would still feel like my priest if I made her into a Mechanome, particularly not without the hair. So this makes my decision easier, essentially. Blizzard never let Hazel think about class balance. Yeah, no, I'm good. I am the worst because I'm just kind of cool with whatever. I am not picky enough to be like a public voice. Like, I can make videos and whatever, but whenever people ask me to like, what would I change or what would I add? I'm like, I don't know. I trust you guys. You're the game developers. I'll play whatever it is that you make and I will probably have a good time. I'm way too easy. I'm like, I don't know. You do whatever you want. It's probably a good idea. And if it's not, you'll fix it. Whatever. I'm here. I'm having fun. Oh boy. Oh, I remember Shadow Priest topping DPS Emerald Nightmare. It was just so fun because it was such insane stakes in that, like, you could do so well if you pulled it off, but to pull it off, you had to sacrifice everything. And if you made a mistake and you died early, so embarrassing. Like those stakes, that risk, that really gave it like a good high. Have you raid tested all of the 12 bosses yet? If so, how are they? I think I've seen 11 of 12. I'm pretty sure I've seen 11 of 12. Last fight tests on Friday. Friday at 2. So Friday's stream might be a little late, by the way. But yeah, last boss test on Friday. I've seen almost all of them. I love that raid. It's so good. It's so cool. Can I show you guys a, not a fight. I'm not spoiling fights, but I took a shot. I took a little clip of just the environment. There's like one part where you exit a hallway and you like crest over a crater and you can see the raid stretching out before you, and it's so cool looking. Oh no, accidentally launched After Effects. That's wrong. Let me pull this up. Where did I put it? I put it in the raid testing folder. Oh yeah, there it is. So wait, mute that. I forgot that I had sampling. Okay, and then if I move this, don't play a 360-degree video. I don't want that, and I don't want this. I've opened too many things. All right. Oh no. Why must Windows file player change so? Open in regular old-fashioned Windows Media Player. Thank you. All right, and then we're gonna mute it again, because that's just Discord. And then I'm going to show this. So this isn't a spoiler for any of the bosses or mechanics or anything. This is just like the environment. Avert your eyes if you don't want to see the environment yet. I'm going to turn this monitor on, turn this off. Look at this. Look at this area. You come out over the hill, you can see the trash. The road that you want to take sort of stretches in front of you. As you go forward, there's a crater down in the middle that you can go out in. There's this big tentacle thing over the top. It's gorgeous. That's a boss. That's a boss flying around. That's Vexiona. Like, wow. Wow. Isn't that nuts? Like, I feel like we got over the hill, and we may have needed a raid break anyways, but everybody just kind of stopped. It was like, holy smokes. Do you think that you'll farm the Rat Stallion mount one day? Nah. Well, I guess I shouldn't say nah. One day, maybe. I should. I love that mount so much. It's so cool. I just don't... maybe another expansion needs to go by. Maybe I need to be 2 expansions above it, because I want to do it without PvPing much. Because I already started the grind on my priest, and I don't know how to PvP as a DPS. I don't know what I'm doing. But I started it on my priest, so I should finish it on my priest, you know? Why do you not Mythic raid? Heroic is just so easy. I feel like Mythic at least gives a challenge. I don't Mythic raid because I am not prepared to offer the level of commitment that I feel like Mythic raiding requires. And my guild is not prepared to recruit and or bench people to fit an even 20 players that is required for Mythic. We want to be able to raid with whoever shows up. We want to not have to bench people unless they are being a real problem. And we want to just kind of go. We don't have to worry too much about like radio silence over Discord. We can just kind of have fun. Some people are drinking. Some people are chatting. Like it's a more relaxed social time. And because it's less serious, it means that, you know, if I haven't gotten all my enchants sorted out, if I'm like I'm a little underprepared, it's not the end of the world. I'm not letting down my team. I don't have enough time, or at least I'm not prepared to dedicate enough time to be the member I would need to be, or want to be anyways, for a Mythic raiding team. So I'm good. I don't really feel the need to progress any further, and Heroic feels challenging enough for me, particularly at the end of the raid. Like killing Heroic as Shara felt like an accomplishment when we did it, and I didn't really feel the need to go and then do Mythic. Like I actually kind of really enjoy reading Mythic mechanics and going, yeah, I'm never gonna mess with that. No thanks, not for me. Oh man, I need that VoD dragon to be a mount. I still have to look. That's one of my video plans for 8.3. Like, now that I'm home, I still have to put together my BlizzCon footage, but I'm going to try and do a video talking about the pre-order bonuses and, like, pricing differences, and then get into just, like, 8.3 stuff. So, like, 8.3 mounts, 8.3 pets, 8.3 transmog, 8.3 auction S changes, horrific visions, all that kind of stuff. Just, like, a video for each, hopefully. And then, but yeah, no, I've heard there's some cool mounts and pets going on. Not about the raid difficulty, it's about fun. It's about getting whatever it is that you're there for, and people raid for so many different reasons. Some people raid for personal achievements, some people raid for gear, some people raid for their social group, some people raid just because their friends do. Like, there's so many different reasons to raid, so I think as long as you're getting whatever you came for, that's the important thing. Do you have the Abyss Worm? I've been trying to get it since the start of BFA. Abyss Worm. Is that the lady... Sassy whatever? Abyss. What's her name? Sasszine. Yeah, no, nailed it. No, I don't have that one yet. I do not have that one yet. I'm not going to get into Legion raids until after I finish Warlords raids, and that's going to require me to finish this raid. The picky part of my brain is not going to allow me to farm mounts out of order. I feel like you can get better gear with Mythic Keys and Mythic Raids nowadays. I do think that Mythic Plus and the gear that you can get out of decent Mythic Keys has absolutely supplanted raid farm for us. We used to, originally, like when we first started raiding, we would raid all year round. We would do 2 raid nights a week all the time. And people started to get kind of burnt out, so we started taking breaks, like after nobody needed anything from farm anymore. And that meant that we would raid until we'd full cleared, and then we would farm for like a month, 2 months, 2.5 months, 12 weeks or so, and then we would stop. And every new raid, we farm for a little bit less. And especially because now, like, we clear the raid and almost nobody needs anything, because people mostly have their gear from Mythic Plus anyways. So, like with this last raid with Eternal Palace, we full cleared, and then we farmed once. And I want to say that we barely even re-killed Ashara. I don't even know if we did. And then we're like, all right, see you guys next year. I don't know if our guild is just like collectively burnt out. I'm not, but I don't know if we just don't like raiding with each other anymore, or if it's just because it feels a little silly to continue to farm a raid that you have already progressed through. I feel like progression is kind of the journey for us. Rat Stallion. Oh, Rat Stallion progress is account-wide? Oh. Mythic raiding for serious WoW players. Heroic for more of a social WoW experience. Ran into you at BlizzCon. You had mentioned that you didn't want to feel like a jerk cutting the demo line. You had a media pass. Work hard on YouTube and Twitch. You deserve it. Aw, thanks. I did eventually get into the demo. There was a press room, and I waited long enough that I was able to just like grab a seat there and then check out the demo. So I did eventually get around to doing that. But I appreciate that. You can do rat stallion without PvP. Thank goodness. Have the bee wings changed? Bee wings. What do you mean bee wings? Bee wings. Bee wings. How much does your guild tease you about your videos? Probably less than they should. Some of them actually watch them like on purpose. Which I don't know why I find it so embarrassing. Like I must be proud enough of my videos to put them out. I theoretically do want people to watch them. That's like the whole point. But you know, whenever somebody says something that I talked about in a video, or they're like aware of something that I discussed in a vlog, I'm always like kind of surprised, like, hey, did you actually see that? You actually watched that? That's weird. Thanks. Like I'm both excited and also like really cringing because I'm like, oh no, what did I say? Because I make a lot of dumb jokes in my videos. I ready to stop the voices in my head. So many voices. See, for me, raiding creates additional voices in my head because you get into Discord and it's just people everywhere. Were you a fan of the Kylie Jenner Rise and Shine meme? I did not. I missed that one. Completely missed the boat on that one. What was the meme? Kitten's starting to go crazy. Holy buckets. Hazel, how are you today? Sup, Racknell? I'm doing pretty good. I am doing pretty good. I'm on track, actually, I think, to get through 2 siege runs in one morning. I'm feeling decently good about my plan to maybe pre-clear for next week or for another stream. If I have any time off stream, maybe I just start like running through them. Bee mount wings? Bee mount wings. I don't think they changed them. What was wrong with them? Oh, they seem bigger? Honestly, I have not been on my bee mount in a little while because I just kept getting other mounts. I got lucky with mounts, and then of course the anniversary event gave me the Deathwing mount recently, so I've been riding that one around. No such thing as a dumb joke. Oh, I disagree. I think there is. I think they're still worth making, and I love them. I really love bad puns. I never really understood the groan response. I don't understand how it hurts. Clearly it must, because a lot of people have that response. But I love me a good dad joke. Love raiding Heroic and Legion, but the guilds I joined were all too toxic. I feel super grateful that I can be part of a group of people that has been around for a long time, and they've been raiding together for a long time, they've been friends for a long time, and that I trust that even if, like, I feel like everybody in my guild is old enough at this point that it's unlikely that drama would really cause problems for our raid. Need to make me some tea soon, feeling sleepy at work. I'm gonna need a pot of something after this. I love looking up something on YouTube and choosing a video and it's yours. Aww. Speaking of Jenner, Caitlyn is confirmed. I'm a celeb. Get me out of here. I'm so confused. I don't understand. Pet battle videos helped me a lot, and the Crimson Tide mount was kind of hilarious hearing you speak, Murloc. Oh boy. Bad puns are the best. When you get the ground response, you know it was a good one. AV is going badly, but the Horde just aren't finishing this off quickly. Everyone mountain bees get small fired up. That's funny. Just, you guys may have won this battle, but you don't have bees. Have you tried to get the Blood Serpent mount? No. Blood Serpent. Blood Serpent. Blood Serpent. What's it from? As far as I know, Lion Leaper, there is no method to lockout share this particular mount run because it is mythic. Heroic raids and normal raids you can lockout share for them, and I've done that for like ICC and for Ulduar and the like, but my understanding is that you cannot lockout share a siege and you must re-clear the entire thing every time, which is it's a whole day. It's a whole wonderful picnic of a day. Do a little bit of this. Have I been through this side already? I think I did, yeah. Maybe not. Or maybe I'm done. Am I done? No. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. No. I think I did this wrong. Is this gonna kill me? I think sometimes maybe I... No. Oh, I'm okay. You'd think after this many weeks of doing this, I would have learned what's going on. Feels good to be part of the Squirrel Squad. I kind of miss raiding. Haven't properly raided since Kata. Wish I had enough good friends to play WoW to be able to raid again. It's very comforting for me to know that when a raid comes back out, I'm going to have the joy of seeing it with my guild, and I especially like the role that I get to play now where I get to kind of know what's up ahead of time, because new raids used to really stress me out. I learn, but not quickly necessarily. I don't always catch on to mechanics at first, and I get very embarrassed when I fail mechanics, particularly if it's a personal responsibility thing that then causes problems for the rest of my group. So I used to get really nervous around raid launches because I, despite preparing, would still feel kind of messy for the first couple of polls and would take me some time. But now that I get to do the guides ahead of time, I get to feel like I already know what's up, and I can be like, oh guys, you're gonna like this boss. For this boss, I think that you're gonna have a really good time. I think you would be good for this role. Like I'm not leading, but I get to kind of backseat lead a little bit because I've seen them before, and that's fun. That's really fun. Okay, we did this. I'm going to get up very briefly, leave you guys with my cat host. She is sleeping on the job, but luckily for her, that is part of her job description, so I will be right back. There we go. Okay, up we get. What did I miss? Never understood the lockout thing. You can just do the same boss without the mobs and all of your alts. So it doesn't apply to this raid, but basically lockout sharing is when you have a character that clears up to the boss you need but does not kill the boss you need, and then you are able to share that lockout to your other characters. So when the new character logs in, they can skip right ahead to the boss that you're looking for without having to clear the trash or the earlier bosses. You use the group finder to do it these days, so you like get into a group with yourself, and that lets you accept your own lockout when you walk in. I have videos that walk you through the process for both ICC as well as Ulduar, which are the main two where you can do that in. And that's how I farmed my Mim's head and my invincible mounts. Unfortunately, a big no-go in here, which sucks because this is a long raid. This is a lot of stuff going down, happening. I do have a Discord. Let me see if I can get a link there for it. What are your streaming plans for Shadowlands release? Any long streams planned, leveling streams, etc.? It depends. It depends on what my video plans are, because the reason that my stream schedule is such short streams is to, theoretically anyways, leave me enough time the rest of the day to also be making and editing videos. Some days that works better than others, but that's the plan. So if I go really ham streaming Shadowlands when it first comes out, that will mean that I'm not making any early videos that need to happen. And while theoretically I should have made most of the videos that I needed by then via the beta, you know, hoping I get in, it's like early expansion is also kind of prime time for fresh videos, so that I gotta try and find a balance there. But usually for launch day of a thing like that, I'll do a longer stream usually. I'm usually the tactics guy for my guild, up to me to know what's going to happen. Raid guide videos always help immensely with that. There we go. Finally able to clear Eternal Palace. I only recently got into raiding, so being able to clear was really cool. Congratulations. Level 600. No, don't tell me. It freaks me out. Thoughts on herbalism and inscription for gold making. Herbalism is just a nice, solid, stable one to have. I especially like it because it means that I'm getting some value out of just going in the world and playing and doing world quests. The only herb that's really going to make you decent gold right now is anchorweed, but I would suggest starting to stockpile anchorweed as well as zinanthid ahead of the next patch. Inscription, I feel like, had its heyday in 8.2 when everybody wanted contracts for Rustbolt and Cohen / whatever Horde get, Unshackled. So Inscription, I wouldn't worry about. Inscription's not, well, I don't know. I don't have it, so I'm biased. I feel like I don't have it because it's not great, but maybe it is. Let's see. Oh boy, so I was going to ask you guys, any of you guys have a, what do you call them? It's like a pet cam, but not like what I have in my stream right now. Like something that I could use to monitor. Like, you know, the pet cube or whatever? Like Wi-Fi enabled pet cameras that allow you to check on your pets while you're away from home. I want to try and set up something like that so that I can experiment with going out and leaving Joker behind and just seeing how he's doing. Because I would like to try to get him used to that. And he doesn't seem to get as upset when I leave as when my husband leaves. So if we can have just me leaving behind as I do for like a hair appointment, it would be nice if I could do that like a little more often. Like I would love to be able to just like go to the library and, you know, write for a little bit or read for a little bit or just check out some books, but you know, you can't bring your dog into the library, that kind of thing. So I was thinking of getting set up with a pet camera, and I was wondering if you guys had any experiences with them. And you bought one that you didn't like, you bought one that you did like, something to look for or not look for, that kind of thing. Made good gold on the trinkets, over 200k a week. Oh, you still make good gold on them. Oh. Trinkets. As long as you're not in a big server. Most glyphs. Okay. That's pretty good. The treat cam thing. Treat cam, like what, the camera gives treats? I've definitely seen cameras that have a laser pointer built in for the sake of your cat. Because my dog can only eat certain treats. Like, some treats will make him very upset in the tummy and cause him to have eruptions from one or both ends. So he has very specific treats that he likes that also won't make him sick. So it would need to be something I could put into it. Would you recommend herb and alchemy then? I think so. Yeah. Alchemy is always strong, and with herb you can kind of power it yourself, especially when herb prices go up. And alchemy is one of those things that's always going to kind of come back because it is continually used and useful. I also recommend enchanting. So what I have is I have two characters that I use for professions. One is herb enchanting and the other one is herb elk. So I guess I just have herb twice. I don't really need to, but enchanting has always been a favorite of mine too. Just anything that's going to be usable for raids. I have a furbo. It's a camera plus a treat launcher. I like it a lot. I wouldn't be comfortable with pretty much a security camera in my living room. Pet cube sucks. I had it and returned it. Okay. The ring cams are great. You can view them from your phone. Yeah, I would want something that I can view from my phone. I would also want something that I can trust is security enough to hopefully not have other people viewing it from their phones, you know? Get some encryption on there. You can throw treats at your dog. I don't know if my dog would notice if I threw a treat at him. I feel like he needs the rest of the cues of the treat giving situation for him to notice that there's something for him to eat. Small treats into the bin. When you log into the camera, it gives you a button to launch a couple. That's kind of fun. That might work. That might work for him. You pay more attention to highlighted messages. Shouldn't everyone just highlight messages then? I mean, if everybody did it, I might not be able to see all of them. Sometimes people ask me how I choose which messages to read, and to be honest with you, I can't really explain it. I may be subconsciously giving bias to certain messages over others, but it's very hard to say. You just kind of scan and pick out keywords. Oh boy. Make a squeak noise so the dog comes looking and looks at the camera. Some of them, I set up a Skype call with auto answer. I've seen them where you can like talk through a speaker at your dog. I would just be afraid of confusing him a lot. Like, I don't know if he would understand. The best way to get war resources. Emissaries and World Quest, right? Like, that's just Emissaries, World Quest, and then World Quest give you rep, and then rep caches also contain war resources. I think that's just it. I think you just got to do a lot of World Quests. I was watching a YouTube video from a furbo yesterday. Cracked up when the dog kept getting smashed in the face with the treats. Oh, no. Only thing unhackable is a brick. This is true. She doesn't like all of us equally. That's... I would like to say that's not true. I don't know all of you as well. I always enjoy getting to know more of you. One where you can talk to the dog. I know they exist, not sure on specifics. I just want to be able to check on him while I'm out of the house because I want to get him more used to being alone for like an hour or two by himself, especially if it's just me leaving, so he doesn't have as much of a queue to flip out. But also, if I'm gone and it's clearly not working and he's extremely upset and it's just making it worse, I need to know about that so I can, abort, right? So, one of those Ring doorbells, we use that as a cat monitor while we're away. How much does Blizz spend on the cinematics? Because I could watch an entire movie like that. People have been requesting, like, full-length movies by the cinematic team for a long time. The cinematics have been getting longer. I feel like their pipeline has gotten more efficient at making them. I still think it would probably be prohibitively expensive to put together a proper movie. And also, it might be tough for them to maintain the same levels of tension and storytelling in a full movie. Because in a cinematic, you're usually up close, you're punched in on a couple of characters, you're focused on character moments. And that works really great for a cinematic, but you can't always tell a whole movie like that. And I'm sure that they could expand their tools to you know, vary up the pacing and tell a proper movie. It's just a question of like, is this going to be too expensive for it to be commercially viable? Joker, a super anxious pup. He has very tough separation anxiety where he's fine as long as he doesn't think you're about to leave him. So he has very specific triggers that will cause him to have very bad anxiety. So if he thinks that we're going out of the house, even though we always bring him with us, he sees you put on your coat, he sees you put on shoes, he sees you wear pants, he sees you get keys, that's a problem. If you guys are all in the car, like if we're all driving somewhere and we start driving through a parking lot, we start changing lanes, we start looking for parking, that's very upsetting to him because he doesn't know what's up over there. He just really doesn't want to be alone, which is funny because he also doesn't really want you to touch him. He wants to see you, but he doesn't want you to like pay attention to him. He just wants you to not leave. I have an old iPad propped up at home. I think it's the Ring 2. I would check that one out. It's a free app. It's just a Skype that auto answers so that my dog doesn't have to. I wonder if people have trained their dogs to answer a Skype call because that would be cute. I could see, remember the beginning sequence of 101 Dalmatians when Pongo is running around, like, getting this guy's day ready for him? I feel like that dog could probably answer a Skype call if it came down to it. Where's the dog? He's in the living room. Probably. He's around. He doesn't need, that's the thing, is he doesn't even need to see me when we're home. He just wants to, like, if he knows that we've already gone out and he knows we're not going out again for a while, he'll just, like, find his own place to hang out and sit. He doesn't even need to look at me. I just wish that I could make him that comfortable the rest of the time when I'm not in the house. Like, he clearly doesn't need it, you know? Is he a rescue? No, he was adopted quite late, though. He had a bit of a heart murmur issue. So he was an older puppy when he was adopted. So he was with his parents for a long time. He was taken away from his parents much later than dogs usually are. So he had time to get kind of attached to that. And that's a theory as to why he's so separation prone now. I think it is also a little bit of a breed thing. He's been through some training. He's been through a variety of training. He's also 8 years old at this point, so his habits are fairly ingrained. I'm not saying it's impossible for him to get better, and I do want to work with him on it, which is one of the reasons I think the camera might be a good tool. But he's getting to be an old boy. He's getting to be a little gray in the face. All right, time for garage attempt number 31, or 2 for the day. 106 garage kills for the mount. I had my math all wrong this morning. I was looking at the probability, and I saw that it was like 1.3%, which is, you know, better than your typical 1%. But for some reason in my brain, I edited that to 3%, which would be more of like a 1 in 30, 1 in 33 kind of chance. I'm like, well, by that logic, I should be almost at probability, you know, as it were. Not how that works. Both not how the math works and not how probability works, but like both of them. I feel like training a dog to answer could be a problem. What if the dog is sassy and doesn't want to chat to you? I could see cats doing that. I could see like a cat being smart enough to answer the phone and also stubborn enough to just not. It's like, nah. You're not going to be here. I don't need to pick up. You can talk to me when you get home. Why is Cam super cheap? Works well for monitoring pets. My dog is 10 years old. He hates it when I leave. I can't crate him. He opens cam locks, breaks his teeth to escape. It's heartbreaking too. It's really hard. I talked to my dad. He's really cool. He says you're going to get the mount this run. All right. If Meat Pie's dad says so, then it's fate. It's destiny. I'm ready to be done with this place. I am ready to move on. I am, especially because I just came up with a plan for how to get more runs in a week. So usually once I like start setting up a plan and getting really established, that's when it drops for me. So I believe it. Y'all think we're gonna get high elf customization with void elves? I think they slap them on blood elves. I think they would look a little wonky on void elves, but maybe both. Maybe both of them get a version of it. Although, you know what it is blood elves are confirmed getting new customization options, and I've seen it reported that allied races are not, so void elves would not get recustomizations the same way that blood elves would. Hello from the UK. Never managed to catch you live. Welcome, Scorps. How you doing? Does anyone have corgis? Are they high energy? I know they're herding dogs. I would also be interested to find out. I see them around, but it's hard to get a read on what they're actually like because you're just so distracted by just how like fluffy and squishy it was. Missing any other raid drop mounts? So for raid drops, and mind you, I'm missing like all of the world boss drop mounts. I'm not even messing with that. But for raid drops, I have everything up until this point. So I have the vanilla raid drops, I have the Burning Crusade ones, I have my, my Ashes, and I've got my Onyxia, and I've got my Invincible, and I've got my Mim's Head, and I've got my Elegon mount. I'm good up to this point, but I don't think I have anything after this point. I'm trying to do them in order, chronologically speaking. Would have been nice if they gave some love to allied races too. Some of them are really underwhelming. Ashes dropped for our healer in the Chromie raid this week. He didn't want it, so another friend in our group rolled for it. That's exciting. Herding dogs with those tiny little legs. You don't know what they're herding. Maybe they're herding frogs. Maybe somebody has a bunch of frogs and they need them all to go to the frog pond, and the frogs have better ideas, and who's the best person for that job? A Corgi. Don't ask me why. Need to be run down each day to get those herding yayas out. I want a Corgi so bad, but my wife thinks they're way too expensive. Talking about getting your WoD basket quest done before streaming. Did you do those yet? I personally like watching full clears too. I have not done it yet. That's something I'm probably going to mess with after this mount drops, to be honest. I don't really see an end to Siege in sight. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. So I have a hard time planning for a world where the mount is already dropped, because I just don't see it happening. Like it will eventually. If you're persistent enough, anything will eventually happen. It's just a matter of keeping at it, but I don't know when. Don't blame me about the world boss mounts. Over 2k tries, been trying since Legion. 2 to show for it. Once I found out the drop rates, I was done. I was over. I was farming them, assuming that they had a 1% drop rate like everything else in the world. Once I found it was less likely than 1 in 1,000 while still being on a weekly lockout, and you have to find it up in the world. Nah, man. I have a threshold where something is too difficult to get, and I just go, nope, not for me, and I give up. And I don't feel bad about it, because I can look at it and know that's not for me. Time Lost Proto Drake? No thanks. Nah. You can't make me do that, and I don't care enough, and I know I don't care enough, and I feel just fine about that. The cows can't kick them because they're so short. Oh, for corgis. Today I got Icky. Is it true that he's one of the best battle pets? Got no level 25 token, no polished pet charms. He is definitely level Icky. He comes up so often, you can use him to get through so many things. Very, very good. Mim's Head and Handmaiden still eluding me. Mim's Head's not that bad of a run because of the lockout sharing. It's Dragon Soul that gets me. I am so glad I'm done with Dragon Soul. Okay. Time for the moment of truth in 7 seconds here. Corgis were bred to herd cattle and sheep. You get going when you have someone biting at your heels and belly. I bet you do. Okay. Drum roll. Maybe. Sure, I actually kill it. Drum roll. Not today. Not today. Can you solo Mythic Blackrock at like 4:30? Think so. I think the WoD raids are all doable now. Got Timeless Predator Drake, Alani, and the Purple Stone Drake with the help of the Secrets Finding Discord. Very nice. Wish there was a way to skip Spina Deathwing. Don't we all? What is this? I've never seen this before. I never looked at his foot. It just wants me to turn a thing in. Oh, well, what do you do? Let's scooch on out of here. All the Legion raids are doable. Solo Nighthold on normal. I usually like to get into raid farming once it's not only doable, but also easy. I need to be able to run it while half paying attention, and on a character that is not fully geared. I need it to be something I can just run through and not one-shot everybody, but I need to not worry about mechanics. As soon as I have to know mechanics for a raid, I'm no longer interested, and it's not really like soloing for me. Is he wearing Ugg boots? He may have been. Not today is me every time I do ICC. For next week, or even maybe for a later stream this week, I'm gonna see if I can get some characters like up to Garrosh so that we can just have a couple more attempts in a row. And that will hopefully get us through this one faster, although I don't know when I'm gonna set those up off stream. Icky is one of the best battle pets. You should absolutely do your best to level him up. Get it one day, eventually. Not maybe. It'll happen one day. That is me done for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. Stay tuned and posted for, I don't know, more stuff from me. I'll be back. I may be late one of these days, either this week or next week. One of the afternoon streams may start a little bit late. Friday in particular because of raid testing. But another day I may end up getting out of the house to do something. So I will let you know. Until then, thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.